All right. Welcome. Another training that I just did. Discussion board we also did as well. So this is also in the GroupMe app. So if you are not aware or not a part of that group, you might want to join. If you are and you haven't even seen anything or haven't even put yourself in a position to know what's going on, I encourage you to go to the GroupMe app that's in the group, so you guys can see what's going on and be a part of the training and the discussions and stuff to help you lose weight and just have a better quality of life. And one of the things that we talked about was stress management and dealing with the stress of life and changes. So, or the stress of life changes. So, I kind of given a little bit of my compilation of how I do things, but I know this is usually everybody's issue is time. This is usually our excuse. It's a very valid excuse because we usually don't have time to sleep. We don't have time to cook. We don't have time to work out. We don't have time to meditate. We don't, but we really do. Everybody has the same amount of hours in the day. And people who are getting where they need to go are choosing, or in other words, and this is a Bible principle, you have to buy out the opportune time to do what's right. And that includes doing things for self-care. So you got to buy the time, you got to find the time, and you have to set that time and stick to it. So if time is usually our excuse, then we need some ways to combat that. And that comes with life skills or just doing things that we should be doing in life to better it. So, for example, I'll give you an example of something that we usually do, and I'm also a person who used to do this as well. When you wake up from a sleep that doesn't feel so quality, you're tired, you wake up, you get ready for work or you get ready for the day or whatever it is, but you haven't even had time to think. You're taking care of everybody else's stuff but yourself. So you're getting up and you're letting life control you instead of you controlling your life. You're letting everything around you, social media, people that are living your household, you're letting your children control what you do. Like, you're letting it happen instead of setting out that time for yourself. So you should have a morning routine that focuses on you. And you should communicate this with those in your household, whether they're going to be on board or not. This is a necessity because you, as a caretaker, because you are, can't take care of anybody else if you can't take care of yourself. And although your spouse is someone that takes care of you, that should be taking care of you emotionally, physically, mentally, you still are responsible for you. They are just a part of the help in that. Whether they're doing it or not, we're not talking about their responsibility. We're talking about your responsibility to yourself. So you need to focus on you. It sets your mood for the day. It sets how everything is going to work for you. So if that means you take time to meditate, if that means you take time to journalize your thoughts or your dreams or whatever it is, or to write out a plan of your day, do that. Focus on you first. So you can get up in the morning, fix the bed if you know you're single, or if you're not and your husband's still in the bed or not, just get up. Get yourself ready for the day and just think and be thankful of certain things, and then start to sit down or do whatever it is you enjoy doing and just focus on you. And when I say focus on you, focus on your mental and emotional capacity. Where are you in that time and how you can adjust it so the rest of your day doesn't take control of your emotions and your thinking. Because life happens, we deal with people every day. People say things that trigger us. Anything could possibly happen. You need to already have a plan of action emotionally and mentally to combat that. So keep that in mind. So your morning routine, I'll give you an example of mine. I get up, I get myself ready for the day. I actually get up to get myself ready for fasted cardio. I do 30 minutes of walking in the morning, whether it's on my treadmill, at the gym, or outside if it's warm. And once I got myself ready, I'll have tea or coffee and I'll sit with my planner and I will review what I planned the night before. Or if I didn't plan anything the night before, I'll start to set out some goals and things that I want to do for that day or for that week, or just brain dump if I haven't done it the night before, which you should do. And that's what I do. And then I do my 30 minutes of cardio, and I'm usually feeding myself with information. So you need to focus on you. I take that 10 minutes just to look through all of my things and my goals and what I want to do for the day. Focus on day to day. It's okay to do week to week, but focus on that day. And then do your cardio or whatever, which is what I do. And then I feed myself with information, or I may continue to think and brainstorm with myself. But most of the time I'm listening to videos and things like that. On YouTube, I like to listen to motivational videos, meditation videos, or I'll just listen to music that gets me pumped for my 30 minutes of cardio. So that's how my morning routine is. So I'm focused on myself. I do all of this before I even look at my phone. So why I say that, I don't look at my phone to look at Pinterest, Instagram, YouTube. I don't look at social media because that's everybody else's crap. I only focus on me. So that means I have something as far as a written journal. Now, if you're a person that uses your phone for journalizing and getting information and planning your day, like your calendar on your phone, that's fine. But try to stay away from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Stay away from that stuff for a minute and just focus on you and what you need to do for that day. Now, if you are planning your day, or your day has been planned the night before and you need to look at, and you're reviewing everything or planning it out, pick 2 priorities and complete only those 2. A lot of times we don't have a lot of time to do stuff because we are just putting down menial tasks that you really don't have to do, or you really don't need to do, or it doesn't really make you or get you somewhere faster than you want to go. It's just some menial task that doesn't necessarily make or break you. Let's just say that. So number 2, you want to complete 2 priorities with work and business, because some people are dual. They have a career, something they've been doing for years, or a job that they have been doing for years, and then they're trying to run their own personal business. This is the same if you are only work and you don't have a personal business, or only a personal business. 2 priorities, that's all you need. If you're doing a dual, meaning you work and you do your own personal business, make 1 priority you want to complete while you're at work, and 1 priority you need to do for your business, and time it. Don't try to work all the way till you have to go to sleep. That makes no sense, because you need 7 to 8 hours of sleep, and you need good quality sleep, not just the hours itself, because some people can get good quality of sleep in 5 hours. So complete 2 priorities within that day for you. Even if it has to be a priority of just responding to people better, or thinking about a particular thing better, or staying away from the cafeteria that has a whole bunch of cookies and cakes and pops for the day. Even if that's your priority, it's your priority. If it fits to help you have better, healthier choices and habits, make that your priority. If it's something you need to do with your business or with your job, focus on completing all the, responding to all the emails that I need to, or focus on, a particular patient. It could be anything, but just 2 priorities. Don't brain dump the night before, or create all of your priorities within that time that you're in the morning, and then think you're going to complete all of them. Because trust me, and probably 80% of it is unnecessary stuff you need to do. So just pick 2 that's a priority, that's going to get you to whatever your personal goal faster. That's what I mean. And that doesn't take you as much time. And even if it does take you a lot of time, at least you will complete it, because you're not trying to figure out how to do 5 to 10, 12 priorities within your day. Number 3, set a time to stop working so you can decompress. This I have to do because most of the time I'm a freelancer. So most of the time I'm working from home. I'm also a college teacher. So, it's not a 9 to 5 job. So a 9 to 5 job, or a job where you're at a set number of time or hours, whether it's morning, a swing shift, or whatever it is, you stop working because that's your timing, and that's good. But the problem is when you stop working and you leave your job, you're still thinking about your job, or you're still thinking about the job you got to do when you get home. And that's understandable that you're doing that when you get home because you got to worry about kids and things like that. But you have to find time to decompress, because if you don't do that, you are going to find yourself having a hard time getting to sleep or staying asleep. And even if you can't stay asleep for whatever reason, for me, I always wake up somewhere around 3:30 or 4:30 in the morning. It never fails. But I'm able to get back to sleep. The reason why is because I've decompressed before I went to sleep. Give yourself at least 2 hours before bedtime. Pick your time, go to bed at the same time every day, including your weekends, or not, but preferably during the week, same time every day. Go to bed at a certain time, pick that 2 hour before, and yeah, you need to decompress. So that might mean you need to brain dump your full day, things that you want to do tomorrow. You might review things that you've written down and you might want to spill it over into the next day. Or you might just want to write some things down that's been heavy on your mind, heavy in your heart, whatever it is. Decompress to me is called brain dumping. And then not only brain dumping, getting it out of your head so you're not thinking about it while you're trying to go to sleep. You also want to clean up around yourself. If you have a family, please include the family, because you taking in all the responsibility is not fair. Everybody needs to take their responsibility, because you are helping them to be better citizens and be able to take care of themselves later too. And that includes getting help from your spouse as well. I mean, if they're not there and they're not trying to do that for you, that's understandable. We do have situations where that does happen, but you can't force another person to do something. So do what you can. But cleaning up and tidying up around the house and making sure everything is in place for yourself helps your mood before you go to bed, because you're not waking up again, letting life take control of you instead of you taking control of life. So you're getting up thinking like, oh, I got to go finish washing those dishes that I didn't wash last night because I was too tired. Stop working, stop thinking by brain dumping, and decompress. Even if you have to read, listen to something relaxing or that gives you more information or whatever it is, just stop working, because trying to work all the way up until you need to go to bed it's bad on your brain. It's tiresome, and it doesn't get you there any faster. It just makes you revert back to, oh, I forgot to do this, and then now you're adding more menial tasks to your life. And then you don't get there any faster because you haven't completed a priority. You're just making more work for yourself. So it's okay to stop and just spill over whatever you didn't finish into the next day. That's not including your priorities. 2 priorities, find ones that are easy or that you know you need to do because it affects something the following day. Finish those. But anything else that you have listed that you figure, hey, I had time to do it, I'll knock these out. If you didn't knock them out, just spill them over into the next day or cross them out as menial tasks that you never have to do anyway. So decompress, stop working. And then we discussed in that group, and everyone had their own experiences, and they were able to talk about them. But the mindset reset with Mel Robbins, I did do that. With the mindset with Mel Robbins, there's the 5-second rule book, and then she also has the 5-second journal. The journal is amazing. It's a journal that you would record how you feel when you wake up. It asks the question of why you feel this way, or I feel this way because. So say, for example, today I feel good. Well, why do I feel this way? Because I woke up at the same time every day and I had a glass of, water, or whatever it may be. And then to feel more energized, I can do what? What would help you boost your mood or your energy if you didn't, or if you did have energy and felt good? And then it talks about today, my top project is, and that's a priority. And then this project matters to me because, so if you know the project, whether it's your two priorities, you know why you need to do them, you will complete them because they affect something in the near future. So, and then it says one small action I can take to move forward is, so to complete that, what should you do? What's the small action that you should do to get started so that you would complete it? So it even talks about when you should stop working, you should set that time. Excuse me. You should set that time. Daily text, like I love the daily text. I like reading my Bible, so that's something that I do. So it's a really good journal that you can write in, so it helps with brain dumping. But Mindset Reset is a 30-day program where she talks about the 5-second rule and about sleep and not hitting the snooze button and the do it anyway concept and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 get up, or 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 make a decision. It teaches you how to reset your mind frame, because your mind and how you think and your emotions affect everything else, including your workouts, your weight training, or your diet. It controls all of that. So you have to make sure that that's reset first so you can reach your goals. We also talked about mental roadblocks, and I know one of my mental roadblocks was the scale. So recently, I stood on a scale and it still keeps saying the same number. Even though I understand why it's saying that, I don't visually look the same as I did at that same weight. So a step on the scale, it still says around 170, 171. And I found this was quite odd because I was like 155 maybe a couple days ago, or maybe a week or so ago, but who knows. But I do understand that weight fluctuates, especially your weight training and all of that. And then your weight does not say anything about how you look, because you can be a very heavy person, but you're very lean. So, and we all know that muscle weighs more than fat. That can be that. But your body composition is way more important than the scale. So I just want to say that. But we discussed about mental roadblocks, things that kind of mentally mess with our heads and cause us to not want to continue to do what it is we should be doing because we feel like we're not getting there faster. You need to acknowledge what those roadblocks are. You need to acknowledge that they exist. You need to validate them. And I'm not saying validate them by just allowing it to be, okay, so here's a validation. I guess God didn't make me that way, so I'm just going to accept being this way and go back to my bad habits anyway. No, that's not what I mean. You need to validate them and understand that they are real. You have a right to feel that way, and you have a right to have that roadblock because it happens. It does. You need to have a plan of action to combat it if it is not in your best interest. So if you have a mental roadblock, like for me, example, the scale, looking at the number 170 bothers me. Even though I'm looking in the mirror and I don't see the 170, I don't see that body composition of a 170 person when I used to be 170. I see the body composition of someone who is a lot more toned and muscular. I just happen to weigh 170, and I know that I carry a lot of water weight in my waistline. These are things that I know. So validating that thing, now here's my action of plan. I need to stop stepping on the scale because I know that it's what it's telling me, and I'm constantly messing with my head and torturing myself by looking at that number and think that tells me about myself, or think that tells me that I'm not doing something right. You don't want it to do that. You don't want that number to control you. You want to control that number. So if I want to get 150 pounds, I need to look at my diet. I need to look at how I'm training. I need to go there first instead of looking at it and accepting it in a way of saying, hey, like, I'm not even going to try to continue because I'm not, like, I just messed up. Like, no. Feedback. It's all feedback. So we talked about mental roadblocks. The best way to do that is to acknowledge that they're there, they're valid, and then you need to come up with a plan of action to fix what the block is. So I don't like to see the number 170. I know what I need to do. I need to really check into my diet and tighten it up. I know that's what I need to do. Will that change the number? Probably not. Will it change the way my body look? More than likely, yes. That's the goal that we're going for. So the scale doesn't mean that you're not doing what you're supposed to do. It does not necessarily mean that, because you can look a certain way and look the way you want to look, but that number should not say that that's wrong. So that's what I want you to understand from my point of view of my mental roadblock. The do it anyway is a concept that Mel Robbins talks about as well, and it ties into discipline and disciplining yourself. And she talks about that too. And the do it anyway means it doesn't matter if you're afraid, it doesn't matter what it is, but usually it's fear. You should just do it anyway. Or I'm too tired to work out. Do it anyway. Like, because you never know. Once you get started, you'll feel better about yourself, and then you're like, yes, I didn't let my fear or my tiredness or whatever it is stop me from reaching my goals or not doing what I should be doing. So the do it anyway concept is also another way of saying parenting yourself as well. This is what we do with our children when we're disciplining them. And keep in mind, discipline, unfortunately, for a lot of us, including our own kids, it means that you're in trouble for not doing something you should be doing. And I understand that point of it, but discipline is actually teaching you new habits, and that there are rewards and consequences to the right and the bad choice, if that makes sense. So when you tell your child you need to do this or you got to go in there and do that, and then they just might decide to say they don't want to do it, or they act in a way that gives you the impression they don't want to do it, what you going to say? Well, you better do it anyway, so do it anyway. It's parenting yourself. The difference is that child, in most cases, I'm saying in most cases, don't really have a choice, because you're the parent. You're the guardian. They have to do what you say do, because they are not capable of taking care of themselves the way that you can as an adult. They are still learning life skills, what's right and what's wrong, what they should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing. And that's what you're doing by telling them, do it anyway. You're teaching them, like, this is what you got to do. Well, you need to take that same idea and that same concept to yourself. Do it anyway. Treat yourself as a child and think of yourself when you say, I'm going to do it anyway, as the parent. Nobody can parent you. You have a choice of not wanting to do it and wanting to do it. That's the only difference. You can choose to. You can choose to half-ass it too. But I'm not saying half-assing something is a bad strategy, because it actually gets you closer to your goal, because you're actually doing something you should be doing. You're just doing it in small increments because you don't feel you have the capacity or the time or whatever it may be to just do it all at one time. And what I mean by do it anyway, say for example, is something you want to do and it's going to take too much of your time, it's going to take too much energy, it's going to cost too much money. Do it anyway. Well, can you say that to a child? No, they don't have the resources, but you do. And because you have those resources, you can do it step by step or in small increments. It's going to cost you too much money. It might be better to choose a later date. It might be better to do a payment plan, but you're doing it anyway. You're doing something anyway. If it's going to take too much of your energy, too much of your time, like going to the gym after work and you're tired, instead of not doing it, do it anyway. Find something that will give you the energy to get your butt to the gym or to get you to work out, like pre-workout or coffee, which I would never suggest that after work, but for some people that might actually work for them. So do it anyway. That's the concept. So we discussed about that and certain things that we learned from that. And then release what you can't control. This also goes with brain dumping too, but we focused it more on what you should be doing before you go to sleep, because you can't control anything while you're asleep. You just can't. You have to brain dump it out of your head so you're not thinking about it while you're asleep. You can't control it, so release it. And I don't mean release it by mentally saying I'm just not going to do anything about it, because that's not true. You are. It's still in your head. Write it down. It doesn't matter if it's an emotion. It doesn't matter if it's something that happened. It doesn't matter if it's an action that happened to you or an action you did. Brain dump it, release it. You can't control it. You can't do anything about it right now because your behind needs to decompress and go to sleep. Lack of sleep is a symptom of stress. And when you're under stress, that means you are not alleviating the problem or what the underlying issue is. A lot of times our underlying issue is we don't have enough time. It also means that we're not releasing control of something that we don't even have control over. So release the control. There's nothing you can do about it. But if it's something you can do about it, leave it off into the next day or alleviate that problem right then and there if you can. And then it's out of your control now. It's been fixed. It's been done. So these are the things that we talked about and we discussed on different levels, but I know that one was one where it talks about releasing what you can't control. If you are asleep, you can't control anything. You can control your mind and how you think to help you sleep better. So brain dump it. Get it out of your brain so that you can go to sleep. That is one very important tip that I can offer to help better quality of sleep, even if you can only get 6 hours. It's suggested 7 to 8, but that doesn't always happen for everybody. But your quality of sleep matters, and that will help with your stress levels because you need the sleep. Your body and your brain is on overload. That's stressful to the body. Things that are happening around you that you can control, you're allowing it to bring stress to your body because you're not alleviating it by doing the right things or do it anyway to fix the remedy so that you can continue on into whatever your goals are. But with all of that said, this is all of the things that we discuss. We know time is usually our excuse, but I will talk a little bit more on stress management and how we can deal with it. But these are life changes. Keep in mind, life happens. Things happen for us and to us from day to day. So focus on day to day. It's okay to plan beyond your days. That's very important that you do that, years, months ahead. Do little things like that, but keep these things in mind. This helps with your stress levels, changes of life, all of that. I will see you guys in the next video.